Hi there, welcome to Just Digital Club. In this tutorial, we are going to learn on how to set up a local development host for WordPress, along with custom domain. So let's get started by going to the overviews of software tools and utilities that we are going to need. The first tools is the WAMP server, which contains everything for setting up a local web server such as Apache, PHP, MySQL, etc. Next is the WordPress package, in which we will be going to copy, and deploy it on our local web server. The next and the most important tools is the HMail server. This tool is used for sending and receiving email from our local WordPress development site. Last is the WP Mail SMTP, which is a WordPress plugin, that will help us to send emails through SMTP, by overriding the mail function of PHP. Let us first create our local web server by installing the WAMP server. Hit right-click on the setup file and tap Run as administrator. Leave this to default. If you get a pop-up windows like this, hit Open. Leave this to default. After installing, you will get a new icon on your system tray. If the icon turns green, it means your local web server is ready. So left-click on the icon and tap localhost. You will get a page on your browser to something like this. Great, the first step is completed. The next step is to change this ugly localhost URL to something realistic. To do that, navigate to where you installed the WAMP server. And inside the directory, go to bin, Apache, Apache 2.4.9, and configuration folder. Open this file named httpd.conf, with your favorite text editor. Scroll down to the bottom of the file, and add this few line of code. This document root is the root directory of our local web server, that is www, which you can find inside the WAMP directory. I recommended that you create a new directory over here. Now copy the link to this directory, and paste it in the document root. This server name is the URL that you want to give to your local development site. Make sure, I repeat, make sure you don't use live domain out there, such as google.com or facebook.com. After entering the code, save the file. Next, run Notepad as administrator. Open the hosts file which reside in C, Windows, System 32, Drivers, etc. Choose the file type to all files. And open the hosts file. Add this to the new line. Give one tab, and supply the previous URL that you used as the server name. Let us save the file, and close it. Now let us test the new localhost URL. This is not the page we want to see. We need to restart the server. Wait till the icon turns green again. Now hit refresh on your browser. We just got a blank page. This is the page that we wanted. The next step is to deploy the WordPress package to the server. Copy all the WordPress files to the server root. After copying, refresh the page. Click on Let's Go. We need to create a database for our local WordPress. But, first of all, we don't want to use the default user which is provided by the WAMP server during installation. So we are going to create our own username and password. To create a new user for our database, open phpMyAdmin. Go to the User tab. And click on the Add User. Supply the username and password. Make sure you choose the host type to local. Check this two option to grant access to the new user. And click on the Go button. We have just created a new user. Now go ahead and create a new database. Click on Add New, and enter the database name. Supply all the details that you have used earlier. Leave the database host and table prefix to default. This is one of the important step, where you input all the site details. Supply the username and password for your WordPress site. You can use any email address, but you will need to change it later. Our local WordPress site has been successfully installed on our server. We are going to log in now. Let's check the front page of our site. The very first thing I'm going to do after installing WordPress, is to change the permalinks. Choose any permalinks that suits you. If you get an error like this, after you have changed the permalinks, you need to enable the Apache Rewrite module, which is disabled by default. Our WordPress site with custom domain is ready. The next thing we are going to do is to install a mail server on our development machine. To do that, download the HMail server and run it as administrator. We are going to need this for sending and receiving emails from our local WordPress development site. Over here, make sure you choose Use External Database Engine. Enter the password for your mail server. Supply the password that you have entered just now. This is a database setup wizard that will help us to connect the email server to MySQL database for storing of incoming and outgoing emails. Choose Create a new HMail server database. Select MySQL. Set the database server address to localhost, and the database name to HMail server. Supply the database username and password that you have created earlier using phpMyAdmin. From the drop-down, find and select WAMP MySQLD, which is a MySQL service that is needed to run before running the mail server service. If you got an error like this, it means that you need to copy the MySQL client to the bin directory of the HMail server. You can download this client or the MySQL C connector from the official MySQL website, or you can download it from our website, which I have extracted from the original MySQL program. Close the setup wizard and run the HMail server. Click on Connect, and enter the mail server password. The first thing is to create a domain for our emails. To do that, go to Domain, tap Add. Now enter the URL of the local development WordPress site, without the www. Next is to add the email account to the domain. Tap on Accounts, and Add New. Enter the username for your first localhost email, and also supply the password and hit save. Let us create another email. We are done with setting up a localhost email server. What we are going to do now is to connect WordPress with the email server. But first, we are going to need a WordPress plugin named WP Mail SMTP. So download it and install it on the local WordPress site. Let us configure the plugin by going to Settings, Email. The From field, use the second email that you have created. Over here, you can choose any name. Leave the SMTP host, port, and encryption type to default. Change the authentication to yes. Use SMTP authentication. Supply the email and password of the second email, and click Save Changes. Now we are going to send a test email to our first local email from our WordPress development site. So enter the first email address and click Send Test. If you get Boolean true, it means that the email is sent successfully. But how can you view those emails? Well, you will need an email client, such as Outlook from Microsoft, or Thunderbird from Mozilla, or you can use any of your favorite email client. In our case we are going to use Outlook. First, you need to add your email account to this email client. Choose Manual Setup. Select POP or IMAP as services. Fill all the necessary details. Choose the account type to POP, incoming and outgoing mail server to localhost. Enter the first email address and password. Click on Test Account Settings to verify if the details is correct. Make sure that both the status is completed, else it won't work. Click on the Next button to proceed. The wizard will again check the status. After checking, close the pop-up. Your email will be listed on the left pane. Expand it and click on the inbox. To refresh the inbox and email, go to Send or Received tab, and tap Send or Received All folders. This is the test email that we have just sent from the local WordPress site. You can send the test email again if you are not so sure. The last and the most important step is to change the email, as I have told you during the installation of WordPress. Make sure you don't skip this step, else any new notifications or emails will be sent to the old email. To change the email, go to the WordPress dashboard, Users, and your profile. Change the email which is in the Contact Info section to the first email that you have created in the HMail server. And click on the Update Profile. So let's go to the overview of what we have learned. We have learned how to set up a localhost server with custom domain. We have also learned how to install and deploy WordPress in the local server. And the most important thing is we have learned how to set up a localhost email server for sending and receiving emails from the local development WordPress site. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, click on the like button below or leave us a comment. You can also subscribe to our channel or visit us at justdigitalclub.com.